Each of us has a stable vibration that is truly who we are. That when you're not aware of your inner world, you tend to match vibrations in the outer world, and you can fluctuate constantly throughout the day, whether somebody's in a bad mood or a good mood, or, you know, and you'll frequency match the things around you. And so if you don't want to be buffeted around by that, you know, look inside. You've got your own particular tone, your own vibration. And when you're in that, it feels so good. You just feel like a little kid full of themselves, you know, just doing what you love to do. And we can recognize that. If you can, the book has a bunch of experiences of how to get into that. But you know, it's not just joy. It could be intensity. You know, sometimes you can symbolize it a bit. Like, I realized mine felt kind of like golden, buttery Angora feeling, like an Angora sweater. You know, that when I feel soft like that and really warm and bright, and that I'm happy. You know, that's my cheerful self. I talked to a dancer once, and I said, well, so what does yours feel like? And she goes, like this. So everybody's would be a little bit unique, you know, and you might think about how yours feels to you when you feel like you like yourself. But one way to do it, and we can do another exercise now, a little quickie. So close your eyes. So I'd like you to think about your life right now and imagine the worst possible scenario is occurring. And notice that as you start kind of weaving this reality, your body will feel a bit contracted and it gets denser. There's a lot of pain and suffering that we're actually used to enduring, but it's actually not normal. So if we go into the worst possible scenario, that's one vibration. So again, it's like going through the doorway. Let's go back to the middle point and let go of the worst possible scenario. Just drop it out of your body. And then let's go to the best possible scenario. If your life now started to open up, and more light and more soul and more people who are on your vibration come in, and you have good luck, and resources come and opportunities come, and people you love that are in your soul group show up, and you know, everything just starts fitting together, and you may not even know what you want your future projects to be, but suddenly they find you. And you get all turned on because it's what you love. And it's that sense that it's the next natural evolution of what you already have. And it's like, oh, this is perfect. Feel how your body starts to shift now into a state where if this is normal for you, and this is what you sort of expect to happen all the time, this is your home frequency. Okay? Notice how your body posture may change. You may feel your chest widening. You may feel your head more level or up. There's just a different kind of energy flow that you have when this becomes normal for you. Okay, let's go back to the midpoint. Let that one just sit there in that world. We're back to the sort of doorway again. Let's go back into the worst possible scenario. And your body posture may change now. Your chest may feel more caved in. You know, you may hunch, your eyes may feel dull. You know, and this doesn't have to be your reality, but it's a good point of comparison. So let's go back to the middle, drop that one, let it go. Take your attention out of it, in other words. Unplug. Just don't pay attention to it. And come back now and go into your best possible scenario. And let your body adjust again. And let that energy radiate out through your field. And this is your life. This is what's coming. Keep your attention in that, and it will come. You love it, and it will love you. And it'll come. And these days, because everything's in the present moment, it'll come fast. So you can use this as a kind of a trigger when you start to go into the old perception. Just go back to your best possible scenario, let your body posture change, open up a bit, and you're back centered again. So you can open your eyes, come back. The last skill here that I wanted to talk about was trusting your body responses, because this is the way you will interpret energy information. And we can use this to make decisions. And again, with leadership, you don't want to come from your left brain when you make decisions. You want to be in the moment, in touch with the soul, to access the right data. Then you can transfer it to the left brain, which knows all about logistics and things, and you can keep rocking between, oh, if I did it this way, then what would that feel like? Okay, that would be this reality. Okay, then back here, if I did this with my, strategy, okay, back over here to the right brain, how would that feel? That would, probably have this kind of outcome. And you'll have intuitive sense of the whole process will come in. Then you can come back to your left brain and make choices based on what your right brain's giving you. Okay, so I'd like you to think of a problem that you have or a situation that you'd like to have some guidance about to solve. So let's say solve a problem. And this situation could have two possible solutions, two possible ways of working with it. And the third possible way is to do nothing about it. So you have A, B, and C as possibilities. Everybody got one? Okay. All right, so close your eyes. I'd like you to go into your home frequency. And then out in the clear space in front of you, I'd like you to imagine this problem or issue that is sort of bugging you right now, that's calling for your attention. And just feel it. And then I'd like you to bring up possible solution number 1. And imagine a little movie out in front of you where possible solution number 1 is happening. And you step into that movie to play your part. And imagine now exactly what your body does when you enter that reality. Do you contract? Do you expand? Does it feel like your home frequency, or does it feel like old perception? Do you have a sense that things are going to flow or that there will be snags with this? You may find that as you feel the body responses, that you also have quite a bit of information about the process and how it might unfold that comes as energy information straight through your body. You might know, we don't have enough people for this, or we have the wrong people, or maybe this will be okay in 6 months, and it'll be a little bit rough for a month or 2. You may have all kinds of information about this intuitively. Okay, and let's set that one aside. Come back to center and neutral. Imagine your issue again and bring up possible solution number 2. Imagine it as a kind of movie out in front of you that you then step into. And as you enter that reality, notice exactly how your body responds. You might feel certain chakras get tight. Or you might get excited and open and feel kind of bubbly. And again, as you start living in that reality, you'll start to get a sense of how it's working, or how it might get snagged, or if it is going to go forward at all. Does it match the right vibration? And notice that all this data is really coming to you through your body, through your sensitivity. And sometimes it's an immediate response. If you stay with something a little longer, though, and put your attention on it, and stay attending to it, you'll get layer upon layer of depth about what's going on or what the potentials could be. Okay, so let's set that one aside. Come back to neutral. And let's pull up possible solution number 3, which is to do nothing about it. And see how that feels to your body. Your body will give you a truth signal or an anxiety signal. Truth signals are often very expansive, bubbly, warm, you get chills, it's like energy's moving. Anxiety signals, you feel like lead weight, or your hands and feet get cold, or you curl up like in the fetal position and the energy pulls into the core of your body. You feel solid and heavy. And you can read solutions and things immediately because of your body reactions. Another thing that I think leadership is going to be very heavily based on is the ability to work with flow, which, thank you, Teague. But I think we have to understand what flow actually is. So in old perception, it's linear. Flow is like a sine wave, and it's going from the past to the present to the future. It's growth in a progressive way. But in the new perception, it doesn't go anywhere. There's nowhere to go. You're already everything. It's already inside you. So the flow is much more related to the physics, where you have the particle and the wave. You have the physical reality and then the non-physical reality, then the physical, then the non-physical, the physical and non-physical. And we're oscillating constantly between these worlds, weaving them together. So I'm working with some computer scientists now on modeling some of these new perception things, and we've started calling this the round trip, which I like. It's like, in order to solve problems now, we don't project ahead into the future. We go basically left brain to right brain and move into the all that is, into the imaginal realm, where all possible solutions exist. And then we let ourselves drop back down in with new ideas that aren't from the left brain, they're all right-brained. Then we move back to the left brain and make sense of it and put it down. So the flow, I think now, is like, if you're not in the flow, then you've contracted and stopped the flow, usually through fear or through need to control, which is fear, and you want to have a belief system that's locked down and stable and preserved, and then you can't get any new ideas. No innovation. So we have to loosen up, get rid of all the lockdowns, all the contractions, and be responsive and flexible. And then we can do the round trip easily, So I think that, when we're visioning leadership and we're seeing how everyone is leading, group mind is leading, actually the flow is leading, if you think about it. Because to me, the flow is actually the collective consciousness evolving. It's the movement, the natural movement of the collective. And so, I may have had an idea years ago that I was going to be this emissary and go around to all these foreign countries and talk about everything like a missionary or something. And then at one point I realized, somebody else is going to do that. I'm going to write books. And so then I got into the idea of writing books and had a really good time writing books. And I thought later, I think the collective gave me the idea that I could write books because I wasn't needed in that other space, because somebody else's life was perfect for that other role. And so I'm happy now because I get to do this. So did I think it up? Did the collective give it to me? Well, I'm part of the collective. So we all moved me into a role here and the other person into the other role there, and it's all being coordinated perfectly. But then your interests change, and so then somebody else will change to accommodate your interests, because the flow gave you the interests and moved the other part. Do you see what I mean? It's like so harmonious. There's no sacrifice with this. So I think that in order to serve the flow and stay in the brilliance of it, you have to trust what you get You have to engage with it, use it, do it, share it. So the whole idea of self-sacrifice now is out. Right? You cannot say, oh, I'm not worthy enough to do that. Because then you're not giving what other people need to them. You know, you're holding back on the flow and stopping it. So this is where expanded capacities come in, is that we have to say yes to whatever seems to be coming to us, say, well, I'll figure it out. You know, I'll do it. And then give it. And then more comes in, and then it shifts. So we're needing to, I think, trust the thing that comes to us in each moment. You don't have to know too far ahead of time. The flow doesn't work in ahead of you. It works only in the moment. Problems are sort of fictitious. They are places where your mind stopped the flow and you're focusing on it. There's something in each problem that you want to know about, and it has gotten your attention, and you're investing in it. But we have a tendency to think that something's wrong, when really it's something we're learning or we're using it to evolve. So I think in the new leadership, we're going to have a whole different sense about problem solving. So I want to have you do some of it now. Again, if you could pick a problem or something, it can be the same one you just did, or it could be something else. Okay, so close your eyes. Look at the situation that seems to not be flowing, that you have stopped your attention on this so-called problem or issue. And think about what happened before that. There was a flow that came to this point, and then you actually stopped your attention on it. And you're holding it in place for a little bit of time. You're looking at it. So first of all, don't call it a problem. Think of it as some data, something there that your soul wants you to become aware of. And see if you can go into the situation, to feel into it, to see what kind of dynamic of energy is happening in there. Is there something that bothers you about that feels like something in your own personal life that you want to change or integrate? Maybe it's a new quality you want. You know, when you look at these things from the right brain, the answer sort of jumps out at you. It's often quite obvious, just there. So why are you looking at that? And now I'd like you to imagine adding fresh energy into that point, letting it kind of rev up a bit, and let the flow start taking that situation in a direction that the flow wants. There's one last thing I want to do with you, which is about this thing I was calling the convening. This whole idea of co-creation now, of the group mind, of our connectivity, of collective consciousness forming now. And I think leadership now is going to have to develop skills around this idea. I'm going to take a couple more minutes and we're going to do a quick meditation to feel the group mind. So if you would close your eyes one more time. And you might pick that issue that you were just working with, perhaps just to hold that loosely in your mind. Let's imagine ourselves down in the center of the earth in a huge cave. And in the center of that cave is a crystal ball, and we're in a huge circle around that crystal ball, and it's floating in the air, and it's lit up from within. So we're all connected in a circle, and we're going to send our attention and minds and soul and knowledge base into the crystal ball so that our group mind merges into one mind there in that brain center of the circle. We're going to invite in all the non-physical beings who are also interested in what we're doing, who could help us. Guides, teachers, friends, whatever. And invite them to send their energy into the crystal ball so that we have a huge body of wisdom that is centered in that kind of crystalline brain center there. And then I'd like you to ask for insight or guidance about your issue and allow a ray of crystalline light to come back into your body and fill you up from that group mind that is just right, perfect for what you need as an individual. You don't have to know what it is exactly right now. You may or may not. But within the next few days, it may start to occur to you and surface and make itself known. It's a very quick way to do a kind of a accessing of insight. Okay, so you can come back to your seat here in this room. Know that sort of meeting space is always available. It's not a bad idea, too, in smaller groups to do this, and then each person gets a piece of the puzzle for one big issue that we're working on to solve. Each person gets a piece, and then you share what you get. All right. Well, thank you very much. We made it on time. Yay!